call this meeting of the Oskaloosa City Council to order. Today is Monday, June 6, 2016. Let's start with the invocation. Would you join me, please? Heavenly Father, as we assemble here tonight, we thank you for the blessing of the people in this room. We've all felt your call to be part of the future of Oskaloosa and acknowledge the need for your guidance. For the council members and staff here, we ask that you bless us. Give us quiet and considerate attitudes, well-thought-out deliberations, and ultimately decisions that are best for the long-term future of the city of Oskaloosa. We thank you for those in the audience here and watching the broadcasts. We thank you for leaders of businesses and organizations who have the vision and commitment to help the city, the countless volunteers who are motivated to help us, and for informed citizens who have given us the privilege of their trust and support. Tonight we have assembled a group of people who are making a difference in the long-term future of Oskaloosa. May the words of our mouths and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in your sight. Amen. Amen. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Burnett?
Yes.
Calgery? Jimenez?
Here.
Moore?
Yes.
Versteg?
Here.
Walling?
Yes. Here. Excuse me.
Yates?
Here.
Very good, thank you. Next on the agenda is the opportunity for community comments. This item is reserved to receive comments from the community for concerns whether or not they're on the current agenda. The community is encouraged to come and speak before the mayor and city council, asked to keep statements brief. Time is limited to no more than 3 minutes. Any questions that are to be asked of the city staff, the council members, or the mayor, we ask that those be done prior to speaking to the full council, so that way concerns can be properly researched and perhaps answered away from the meeting. Comments are to be directed to the mayor and city council only. Is there anyone who would care to speak? Seeing none, we'll move on. Next item is the consent agenda. These items are all pretty routine in nature. Did want to mention item G, that is considering a resolution scheduling a public hearing for July 5th for levying a special assessment against private property for city cleanup on 513 South H Street. And also item H, which is a resolution to temporarily close South 8th Street between 1st Avenue East and 2nd Avenue East from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on June 13 through 17, also 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on September 11th for church activities. Do we have a motion of support for the consent agenda?
Second.
Okay.
I got one question on the wastewater. Are we replacing the boiler that burns the gas, and the digester project? So when they talk about gas line and vertical draw-off line and work towards installing the waste gas burner, is that a standpipe that's going to be lit, or are we talking about the boiler?
No, this is the gas evacuation line that is outside of the digester that would, if there were excess pressure, it would burn that off.
Have we always had that, or is that new?
No, it has been there for a number of years. It hasn't been functional for a while.
Because I don't remember seeing it lit. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Comments or questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Yates?
Yes.
Burnett?
Yes.
Jimenez?
Yes.
Moore? Yes. Versteg?
Yes.
Walling?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item 6, this is the announcement of various vacancies we have on boards and commissions. First is the Airport Commission, 1 vacancy to fill upon appointment for an unexpired term ending on December 31st of 2021. It's a 5-member board, typically meeting on the first Monday of the month. Currently 4 males and no females serving, 1 vacancy. Historic Preservation Commission, there are 3 vacancies, 1 to fill upon appointment of a term that ends on December 31st of 2018, and 2 vacancies for alternate members. It's a 7-member board with 2 alternate members that meet as needed, 4 males, 2 females currently serving with 3 vacancies, 2 for alternate members. The Municipal Housing Agency, we have 1 vacancy to fill upon appointment for an unexpired term ending on February 28th of 2017. It's a 5-member board that meets quarterly. Currently, we have 2 males, 2 females, and 1 vacancy. The Housing Trust Fund Committee, we have 1 vacancy to fill upon appointment for an unexpired term ending on January 31st, 2017. 5 at-large members serve on the committee that meets every other month. 2 males, 2 females currently serving, 1 at-large vacancy. And the Water Board, 2 vacancies for 6-year terms that begin on July 1, 2016 and end on June 30 of 2022. It's a 5-member board that typically meets the 3rd Monday of the month. Currently, we have 5 males serving. Moving on into the regular agenda, item 7A. This is to consider amending Table 17.08B pertaining to zoning district regulations and permitted uses for medium retail services. It's first reading, and then I'll open up a public hearing shortly. The Oskaloosa Municipal Code, Section 17.06.070, classifies retail services into 4 different categories. The limited retail services, that includes facilities occupying 3,000 square foot or less. Medium retail services, that includes facilities occupying between 3,000 square foot and 10,000 square foot. Large retail services, those are facilities occupying between 10,000 square foot and 40,000 square foot. And then mass retail services, those are facilities occupying over 40,000 square foot. So the zoning code establishes a land use classification for medium retail services. However, there are no provisions for zoning district regulations and permitted uses for medium retail services. Staff is of the belief that zoning district regulations for medium retail services were left out by error. So at the May 24th, 2016 special meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission, there were 6 yeses to 0 noes recommending approval of the ordinance amendment regarding medium retail services. So the proposed code update includes various amendments, and you can see that being added to the grid below in the agenda. So I'll open the public hearing at this time. Is there anyone who would care to speak to this? Okay. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion of support for this first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mayor, if I may, because we've been working on a project, a retail development project, to kind of spurred this. Sorry. We've been working on a retail development project, and that's what brought this project to our attention, or this error or oversight. As part of this item, and as it's written, staff is requesting that the 2nd and 3rd readings be waived, or at least the council give that some consideration so that we can proceed with discussions with that developer and the project that they're hoping to bring to Oskaloosa would meet the zoning requirements.
Since this is a correction of an error, I think it makes some sense to me to go ahead and waive the 2nd and 3rd. Do we have a motion supporting that?
So, yeah.
I'll move that.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion regarding?
So, without going into detail, it's a new business for the
Yeah,
community?
yes. Yeah, it would fit within the definition of the 10,000 square foot medium retail services. And so once we received the interest from the broker representing the developer, we went to the code and looked at that and said, wait a minute, this is defined, but it's not showing up in the table.
Okay.
So they could have rezoned their property or requested a rezone of a property, or we could make the correction to the table. That's where we think it would be best for the council to make the correction to the table.
Okay.
So what part of it would be restrictive to them?
They would be, the retail services medium isn't shown in the table whatsoever. And so it wouldn't be allowed. So they'd either have to increase the size of their project or shrink it significantly.
And the delay would jeopardize this deal?
I think time is of the essence with this and any retail development that comes in. So it's one less hurdle for them to overcome.
Well, if it passes all 3 readings, we'd eventually get there. But
It's just 30 more days.
And since it's a correction of an oversight or an error to begin with, I think that's worth something as well. Any commentary on waiving the 2nd and 3rd readings? Roll call, please.
Burnett,
Yes.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Moore. Yes. Versteg.
Yes.
Walling,
yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Moving on then to the actual regulation itself. Roll call, please.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Versteg.
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Burnett.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item B is consider a resolution authorizing advancement of costs for the urban renewal project and certification of expenses incurred by the city for payment under Iowa Code Section 403.19. This item is part of the formal process to authorize an internal loan for the urban renewal project using fund balance that's in the general fund. Approval of the item is part of the process to receive reimbursement from tax increment revenue at a future date. At this instance, in this case, the city's portion of the costs associated with the facade improvements, estimated in the amount of $250,000, are eligible for reimbursement of urban renewal tax increment revenue as included as a project in the adopted urban renewal plan. The process of advancing the funds from the general fund is being used because the debt associated with the project was not included in the current or previous year's TIF asking for the city, so therefore it must be drawn from a fund that has a readily available balance. 18 facades are anticipated to be improved with a combination of CDBG funds, private contributions, namely the matching funds, and city TIF funds, which is also matching. The overall project estimated to cost more than $800,000 with all the funds combined. So do we have a motion supporting this resolution authorizing the advancement?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Question. So, are we saying the general fund gets paid back?
Yes. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Moore,
Yes.
Versteg.
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Burnett.
Yes.
Jimenez.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item C, this is consider a resolution for the preliminary approval of plans, specification, form of contract, estimated cost, notice to bidders, setting a public hearing, and authorizing to receive and open bids for the West Mall, namely the Hy-Vee parking lot rehabilitation project. Staff has prepared plans and specs for the West Mall, also known as the Hy-Vee parking lot rehab project. This item will allow staff to proceed with scheduling a public hearing on the plans and specifications, setting a bid letting date for the project. It involves all work associated with the asphalt overlay of the mall parking lot located on the west side of Hy-Vee grocery store. In addition to the asphalt overlay, there are concrete repairs, parking lot island landscaping, and parking lot striping to be completed ahead of and or after this project through separate contracts. Preliminary engineering cost estimate for this asphalt overlay, $231,375. If the project is awarded, construction begins on or before September 19 of 2016, with the stipulation that work must be either completed by or start after September 1st through 5th of 2016, so it does not disrupt the Labor Day holiday shopping. The allowable work completion time for the project is 10 working days. Bids will be received and opened on Thursday, June 23rd, 2016 at 10 o'clock a.m. and presented to the City Council for a public hearing on Tuesday, July 5th, 2016. Staff is recommending approval of this item as presented, scheduling a public hearing for July 5th of 2016. Do we have a motion supporting this?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Has there been any more discussion about getting rid of this parking lot once we get it all pretty?
It'll be a lot easier once it's pretty.
Well, yeah, but are we gonna be serious about that? We don't need to own it. I guarantee you, we're the only Hy-Vee store in the state of Iowa and all the states they're in.
Yeah, I don't think
That
we
they
need to
don't
own
own
it
their
either,
own parking lot.
but I don't think they'll buy it.
I thought that was the case as well, however, in Charles City, they're in a similar circumstance as us. So now we have two.
I don't wanna be Charles City, but anyway.
Is this roughly half of what it would have been on what we looked at before?
Half?
Well, did we look at 550?
We looked
That
at
was for concrete.
concrete, it would have been 500 or more.
Yeah, more than that.
750,000?
750.
Yeah.
And then, is there more work besides the 231, 375?
Yes.
And
There's-
what's that gonna amount to?
What's that?
What is that gonna amount
The
to?
other 250.
Why don't you go to the...
That's what I'm wondering.
There will be, in addition to this asphalt work, there will be concrete repairs. There will be landscaping and pavement marking. They will all be done by separate contractors. usually if we pilot up with this project, the contractor who will be awarded this project usually jumps up their price when compared to the subcontractors. They have additional cost that they include in their bid. So we are separating them separately, and hopefully that will reduce the cost of this project.
But how much do we have some anticipation of what those extra costs will be for the project?
Right. At this time, approximately $30,000 for concrete repairs, and probably $10,000 to $15,000 for landscaping, and $5,000 to $10,000 for pavement marking.
So $50,000 to $60,000.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Versteg.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Burnett.
Yes.
Jimenez.
Yes.
Moore. Yes.
Okay, that passes. Gets us to item D, considering a resolution amending the fiscal 20-17 salary schedule for non-union employees and approving the Development Services Director job description. City Council is required to establish a salary for all employees. Union employee salaries are approved through the contracts. Non-union employee salaries are set by resolution of the City Council. This item amends the previously adopted fiscal year 2017 schedule to amend for the inclusion of the new Development Services Director position that was authorized in the approved fiscal year 2017 budget. The Development Services Director reports directly to the City Manager. Position would be responsible for planning, directing, and coordinating community planning, building permitting and inspection, zoning administration, neighborhood support and assistance programs, comprehensive plan management, and also implementation of the city's adopted housing action plan. The Development Services Director will be a highly visible and responsible member of the city's management team and works closely with the governing body, Planning and Zoning Commission, and other commissions as assigned, also developers, businesses, and residents. The projects and programs expected to be assigned to the Development Services Director include implementation and management of the programs associated with the Oskaloosa Housing Action Plan, management of the Development Services Staff and Program, which involves the building inspections, planning and zoning, economic and community development functions, various boards and committees. Also contract management for the Oskaloosa Facade Project with Area 15 Regional Planning Agency, the Gateway and Corridor Improvement Projects, the Northwest Land Use and Planning Study, grant writing and administration, and other projects and staff as assigned. And so, in considering the budget on this is a position that was included in the City Council budget originally as the Community Development Coordinator in the amount of $58,828 plus fringe benefits. The position is being advertised as a salary dependent upon qualifications, and any additional costs above the budgeted amount would come from a vacant management analyst position that had a salary of $51,897 plus benefits. So, do we have a motion supporting this amendment?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Just going to free up some time from Akilish and some of the things that he's doing? Is that what we're after here?
Yeah. Mayor and Council, as part of this position, depending upon the qualifications of the person that we bring in, the idea is to alleviate some of the administrative workload from Akilish, and as well as, again, having a reorganization within the city. But again, I want to make sure we bring in the right person, the right team member who can handle all of those functions before we say exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah, and it said something in here about maybe inspections and stuff of that nature. He didn't handle that as well. Building inspections, he's not going to do that, is he?
No. The person wouldn't be out in the field doing inspections. It'd be direct oversight of the people who do that work.
Which would be the outfit that we got hired.
Building official, and V&K, correct, yeah.
Right.
We've talked at times about the rental inspection program. If that's something that would develop legs, would this person be involved with that in some way? Would you envision that, or?
Involved, certainly. I think that's one of the questions that I want to ask the council, and again, if we can get somebody in-house first, on board first, as we've discussed, the timeline for bringing forward the concepts for the rental inspection program is to occur next month. So I anticipate having somebody on board right around that time. So it could possibly be a good blend that that person would have oversight because they deal with the building official and the building inspection process. However, traditionally, we've talked about the fire department handling that. And so I want to work through that with you as council and see what we can come up with for the best service that we can provide.
And I guess the second question, when we look at the salaries that's talked about in the budget consideration, I mean, is there reasonable either market surveys or information to think that we will be able to hire the level of qualifications that you need in this role for that amount? Or
Yes.
Okay, so that's been evaluated?
Yes, with using the two positions, yes.
Okay.
And I get, that's why I wanted to make sure that I put that in the budget consideration section. I think given the council's priorities are housing and addressing those issues, I think it makes sense to look at cannibalizing the one management analyst position and using that, those funds to help bring in somebody who can help me and you accomplish those goals.
So it's a combination of the 58 plus some amount of the 51, is that what you're thinking?
Yes, if needed, yes.
Okay.
Tom?
Do you have an idea where that's gonna land? The amounts?
That's why it's due on qualifications. I would say, I don't know yet. I think that's why I was hoping I could have the use of the free range of those two positions to do that.
Well, he's gonna need more money. The 51,000 is not gonna cover this job description.
Well, the 58 wasn't.
58,
That's where I was
yeah,
at too,
yeah,
but
that's
with
right.
the 51, I could see him getting there, yeah.
I mean, he's talking somebody right under a key leash, and, I just.
Okay.
Okay.
Any further comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Burnett,
Yes.
Jimenez.
Yes.
Moore, Yes. Versteg,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Takes us to the end of the regular agenda. Reports from city staff. City manager, anything?
Mayor, just a couple of quick updates. At the next council meeting, the fire chief will be giving a project update on the fire station. So you can expect to hear more from him on that. In addition, we didn't spend much time on it as I'd hoped, but in the packet tonight is detailed information about the community development block grant, the facade grant, and the projects or the properties that had committed to participate in that project. I know we were not necessarily positioned to release all of the information in a nice press release as I'd like to have done, but in this packet, we show the drawings, we show which properties are participating, so if anybody from the public wanted to see that, it's downloadable on our website. So again, I think it's an exciting opportunity for us as a community. It's a great way of leveraging grant funds with tax increment financing and improving our downtown.
Yep. And I would highly encourage anybody from the public who wants to get a look at that there's a lot of work going into that, and once this comes to reality, that's going to be very impressive.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Amy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we don't have the city attorney here. Okay, council members. Let's start with you, Aaron. Okay, Scott?
Thank you.
Tom?
Yeah, I'd want to have everybody go vote tomorrow in the primary and have one of the candidates here, Crystal Bender Jimenez, and she's a great candidate, and I hope you all go vote for her. How about that?
Can do that, absolutely.
I'm surprised by that endorsement.
Really?
I already voted. Why didn't you tell me sooner?
Okay.
Okay. Doug?
Nothing, sir.
Tom?
No, sir.
Steve?
I just want to thank the folks on this block grant that are spending their money to participate. When you take a look at the pictures that are there now and the renderings of what happens afterwards, it's nothing short of spectacular. It's going to change the way our square looks. So I encourage the folks to go look at it, and I sincerely want to thank the folks that are participating and spending their money on it because it's going to make a big difference in the way our community looks. So thank you.
Absolutely. So, yep, and I would ditto most of what Tom said. You definitely want to go vote, and so we do appreciate Crystal being in the audience here. that not all of the folks running for office have been attending our meetings, and so we want to recognize that. So with that, I'll take a motion for adjournment if anybody feels like it.
Move.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Why don't you ever ask for somebody to oppose that? Once I would like